We sat in a room together and we talked about this moment. That when you get into this moment, you can't just want it. You've got to pay a price to earn it. You've got to pay a price to get on this stage. When you walk down the tunnel, think about everything you've done to prepare for this moment. They have not done what you have done. They are not ready to take this thing where you're willing to take it. Your togetherness is better, your effort is better, your culture is better, so put it on display for 3.5 hours and go get it.
Century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it, scream from the haters. Got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power.
Howdy, Ags. Welcome in to the Aggie Audible. I am your host, Lee Hillis, and this is the tour around the SEC, part 2. We are finishing this series tonight, heading into the regular season. But before we dive into that, let's bring in our co-host over here, class of 2022, Kyle Lovingood. Kyle, how are you?
Howdy, Lee. Doing great. How are you?
About ready to run through a brick wall after listening to Mike Elko.
He's good at that. He's got that speech down, right?
And a week from tomorrow, first yell practice of the year. A week from Saturday, first game of the year. We are 9 days away from Aggie football being back in Aggie land.
Game week coming up. Let's go.
But, as I said, we're finishing off our tour around the SEC, which some news came out, a few hours, about 3 or 4 hours ago?
Big news.
That the SEC is starting in 2026, to 9 conference games a year. And 3 non-conference, and one of those 3, you have to at least play an ACC opponent, a Big 10, Big 12, or Notre Dame. You know what I could see in the not-so-distant future? A&M going to the shoe.
Yeah.
Or the Buckeyes going to Kyle Field.
That would be fun. I would enjoy that.
Or A&M going to the Big House.
Also, great. I mean, we couldn't go wrong there.
But tour around the SEC. Starting off with the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Real quick, before we get into Mississippi State, who are your 3 teams that A&M would play every year?
I would say Texas, LSU, and Arkansas. The 3 consistent rivalries that A&M's had going back to their days in the Big Ten.
That I 100% agree. I hope that's what we get. 12. I would be disappointed if that's not the 3. But yes, that would be fun.
Because A&M has always played good games with Arkansas. They've always played good games with LSU.
Yep.
Texas has our number so far. Because they were our last loss before we came to the SEC.
And another thing to think of is we didn't move to the 9-game schedule. Guess what? We would not be playing Texas every year. So they had to move to the 9-game schedule to keep that on every year. So that's another big deal there. And
so, starting off talking the Mississippi State Bulldogs. So they add Luke Croman-Howick, Brennan Thompson, but they lose to the Aggies, Mario Craver.
I think that's going to be one of the best pickups A&M had this year. I mean, besides Casey, Mario.
Oh, yeah. In your opinion, how big of a loss or hurt for Mississippi State is losing Mario Craver?
I mean, he was going to be their go-to wide receiver this year. He ghosted him.
So we know there's one guy who is, and I'll play this clip whenever we get to talk about Texas A&M, and you know who it is. You know who I'm talking about. But I have Mississippi State going 5-7 and 1-7 in conference.
Ouch.
But a quick glimpse at their schedule. I don't want to say it's a forgiving schedule because it's most definitely not. Let me drop down this overlay so you can see everything. So they start off playing Southern Miss.
They have to win that one.
At Southern Miss. They host Arizona State at Davis Wade. They host Alcorn State. And they host NIU. But then they hit conference play. Hosting Tennessee. Travel to Kyle Field. Then they're off. They then travel to the Swamp to play Florida. Host Texas for homecoming. At Arkansas. They host Georgia. Go to Missouri. And then they host Ole Miss for the Egg Bowl. Now, I think their one win in conference is the Egg Bowl. Because they could have won that game last year. They had a lead, I think, all the way up to the half. The second half, breaks fall off.
Okay. So you answered my question. I was going to say, who's the other win? So it's Arizona State. So you're giving them the first 4 games and then the last game of the season.
Yeah.
All right. That Arizona State game will be a fun one to watch, though. We'll see.
Yeah, it would. So then you get to Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma. John Mateer, Dominique Williams, but they lose Jackson Arnold.
John Mateer better be otherworldly because all that hype, they've been hyping him up for, 3 months now?
Oh, at least. But then you look at what I have Arizona State or Oklahoma at. I almost said Arizona State. Oklahoma at. I've got them going 7-5. And all 5 of their losses are conference.
That's about where I'm right there with you. I agree.
But let's take a quick look at the schedule for the Oklahoma State Sooners. Illinois State. Number 14, Michigan. At Temple. Auburn. And then they're off to round out September. August, back end of August and end of September. October, Kent State, Texas in the Red River rivalry, at South Carolina, Ole Miss. That's a tough stretch.
Very tough. They got one of the toughest schedules in the SEC.
Because I looked at this coming out of that Kent State game. Their next 5 games are ranked. Number 1, Texas. At number 13, South Carolina. Number 21, Ole Miss. At number 24, Tennessee. Then you're off. And then you're at number 8, Alabama.
And Missouri should be ranked like 25. So it could have been, But they were nice enough to give them that bye week, in the middle of that stretch.
Yeah. Or the back end of that stretch.
Yep. They're going to need it between Tennessee and Alabama.
Because both are dog fights. And I made this statement last week when we were talking Alabama. Does Alabama get revenge?
I would think so.
On
Is that Alabama?
Yeah. That's the only reason I'd give it to Alabama.
Yeah.
So I have them at 7-5. Give me Illinois State, at Temple, Kent State.
Is that enough to save Brett Venables' job?
If they go 7-5, I think he's safe for at least one more year.
I'm 100%. I agree. Yep.
I think if they go 7-5, he's safe for one more year. Anything less than a 7-win season, he's gone.
And if he goes 7-5 the next year, he's gone.
I would not say that, but you could see it that way. Because look at A&M. The consistent win total is 8-4.
And we fired our coach.
After what?
Some terrible season, but yes.
Yeah. Now, Ole Miss. Harrison Wallace comes in. Patrick Kudus comes in, but they lose Jackson Dart.
In comes Austin Simmons.
And also Jackson Arnold. They go from Jackson with an X to Jackson with a CK.
That is true. Yeah.
But I have them at 9-3. I have them just missing the playoffs.
Yeah. I could see that.
Because if they were to lose to State late in the year, that last game of the season, that's the deciding factor. If they lose to State, they're out. But if they beat State, they could be in.
Making them rivalry games mean a lot, huh? Yep.
Like last year for A&M. Had they beat Texas, they're going to Atlanta.
You know, Georgia is going to want to take care of them after.
But the conference wins I have, so I have them going 5-3 in conference. I've got at Kentucky. That should be a cakewalk because Kentucky is hot garbage. Sorry to all the Kentucky fans I offend. I think they beat Arkansas.
I can see that.
Then everything else is ranked. I think they shock the world and beat LSU.
Is that really a shock, though, Lane Kiffin?
Well, it's Ole Miss.
That's true. Yeah.
I think they shock the world, beat Florida. And I'm going to back up to the top. I think they shock the world and go to Georgia and beat Georgia.
Shoo.
That's a tall task, I know.
I would go like give them LSU or Georgia, both. Whew. That would be tough, but yeah. Let's see if you're right.
But South Carolina Gamecocks, or as our yell leaders called them, the South Carolina Chickens. Jordan Dingle, former Ohio State quarterback Aaron Noland, but they lose Ja'Kai Moore. So I think with a quarterback like Lenore Sellers, I wouldn't see 8-4 being a long shot. I think they could even go even higher than 8-4. I think they could go higher than 4-4 in conference. But I think the base right now is 8-4.
South Carolina is one of those teams that scares me because I have no idea what they're going to do this year.
Go back and look. They started out very slow last year. So let's look at their schedule. Virginia Tech.
I like that first game. That'll be fun.
Then they play South Carolina State. Then Vanderbilt. At Missouri.
Do you think that's a budding rivalry?
Which one?
Missouri and South Carolina?
Oh, funny thing is, they're both from Columbia.
Yep.
But that Missouri game's at Missouri. And then Kentucky. Then you're off to start October. You're at LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, at Ole Miss.
Ouch.
That's a tough stretch.
Brutal.
But you get Oklahoma and Alabama at home. But you have to go to you have to go to Death Valley. You're either playing the SEC game of the week on ABC, or you're playing prime time.
Yep.
Same thing with Alabama, same thing with Ole Miss. Then you're off. Then you travel to one of the most ruckus stadiums in the country, Kyle Field.
That's because I'll be yelling my head off.
And then you get Coastal Carolina. And then you get your rivalry game against number 4 Clemson. the amount of ranked opponents that South Carolina has is mind-boggling. You've got at LSU, number 9 LSU, number 18 Oklahoma, number 8 Alabama, number 21 Ole Miss, number 19 Texas A&M, and number 4 Clemson. That's a tough stretch from October through the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I would not sleep on Coastal Carolina, though. Because Coastal Carolina is one of those teams that if you sleep on them just once, just one play, they will scorch you.
The chickens versus the chickens.
But we get to the Tennessee Volunteers. They add Joey Aguilar. So it's basically a quarterback switch with UCLA. Tennessee gets Joey Aguilar, but UCLA gets Nico Maliava.
In my opinion, that's a pretty even trade. I wasn't huge on Nico. He didn't surprise me last year.
No.
He has a high ceiling, though.
I'm surprised they won as many games as they did with Nico.
Right.
But they also bring in Star Thomas. I have Tennessee going 7-5.
I think it's fair with all the change and everything.
3-5 in conference. Because the reason I went there is because, yes, there's a lot of change. They're still trying to learn this new quarterback in Joey Aguilar.
So they went from playoff to 7-5. Tennessee fans are going to love that.
Here's their schedule. They start off with Syracuse on Saturday the 30th in Atlanta on ABC. Then they host East Tennessee State. Then you jump right into conference play the third game of the year with number 5 Georgia, which is the SEC game of the week.
No doubt.
Then you get UAB. So basically, you have 4 home games, but only 3 are at Neyland. Then you host Mississippi State. Then you're off the first week of October. Then you host Arkansas, the team that beat you last year. Or no, wait, no, it was Oklahoma, I think, that beat that. Or wait, both of them beat Tennessee last year. I think it was Alabama and Oklahoma that beat Tennessee last year.
Yep.
So Arkansas, then you travel to Bryant-Denny for the third Saturday rivalry.
They have a very manageable schedule there from September 20th all the way through November 15th. Like Alabama's the one that pops out, but the rest of them, it's a very manageable schedule.
At Kentucky, but then you get one of the other teams that beat you in Oklahoma.
Right.
New Mexico State for homecoming, at Florida, and then you host Vanderbilt. I think you lose to Georgia, no doubt.
I agree.
Lose at Bama, lose to Oklahoma. That's 3 losses right there. Don't be surprised if you lose to Arkansas, because I think Arkansas is much improved. And I'm going to give you an upset. Vanderbilt.
Woo.
That's a battle for the state of Tennessee.
Yep.
But then we get to our boys.
Giga Maggie.
Texas A&M key additions and losses. KC Concepcion, who I think is going to be one of the favorite targets for Marcel this year. Him, Bethel Roman, and the second on this list, Mario Craper. But you could also throw Amari Nyblack in there, the former Texas Longhorn. But we lose Noah Thomas to Georgia.
That one hurt.
But I think A&M goes 10-2.
So I did my schedule prediction like last week, and I said 9-3. So we're close.
9-3, 10-2. If A&M stays, if everything goes right and A&M stays healthy.
Yep, 100% agree. They got to stay healthy.
And I think they're a playoff contender.
I want them to be so bad. So let's do it.
So what I am thinking, and this is my honest opinion, I think we're 6-0 going into Arkansas.
All right.
Arkansas has always given us fits at Arkansas. The last time we played there, which was, I think, Manziel's first year.
It would have been his second year.
Before we started playing in Dallas.
Right.
But then I think you go to LSU and win.
That would be major. I would blow my doors off if that actually happened.
I think Missouri could get you at Missouri. But then you beat South Carolina. And then you beat number 1 Texas. At Texas.
I would be one happy man if that happened.
So I think you win all your ranked games this year.
That would break a huge tradition that A&M has of struggling on the road. So I would be beyond happy.
Win at Notre Dame, beat Florida, win at LSU, beat South Carolina, beat Texas. As my hat says, beat the hell out of Texas. Or beat the hell out of TU. Little T, little U. So your 3 losses were what? Florida, LSU, and Texas?
Correct. Yep. I think Florida, LSU, Texas. Yeah, I just think they're the right time of the season or right spot. We've kind of come, we've got hyped up. We played Mississippi State, and then Florida's just. I think Florida comes on toward the end of the season, and A&M drops one. That's kind of what I was thinking in that spot. And then A&M is yet to beat LSU and Baton Rouge. So that's why I picked that one. It's been whoever's the home team wins. So that's kind of why I don't see that tradition changing, but I would be ecstatic if it does change. And then I just think Texas is going to be rolling at the end of the season with all the talent they have, and A&M is going to not. It's going to be close, but they won't quite pull it out. That's the way I see it.
So let me go pull this video that I was talking about. And
well, while you're pulling that video, the wide receiver room is going to be the most improved area, and that's the reason why they're going to go 10-2, according to you. That'd be a big reason why.
And then, of course, you're going to have to pick your poison between Moss, Daniels, and Ruben Owens, and of course Marcel.
Yep. And then the freshman running back Jamarion, he's coming on. Jamarion Mora, I think.
Oh, wait.
Ashton Bethel Roman for the wide receiver. He's coming on as a sophomore.
Bethel Roman, you're going to have to pick your poison with that. But for all y'all people that are saying that Marcel Reed cannot throw,
Not a pass.
Shall we prove them wrong?
Please.
Some of the bad they harassing me. But not because I rap and be the athletes. Stop.
That's just one. To Ashton Bethel Roman. But can we talk about EJ Smith for a minute?
He's looked good with
He looks a lot like his dad when he runs.
yeah.
Here's a screen pass out to EJ Smith. That boy is filthy.
They said EJ Smith has had a great fall camp,
Yep.
especially with Le'Veon Moss out and or
Well,
not out, but limited.
I
in practice.
think until we hit Notre Dame, I think Le'Veon Moss will be limited to what he does.
Agreed, 100%. That's what I said.
But I said I was wanting to talk about someone who is extremely high on Texas A&M. But let me clear out some of this inventory I have.
Yeah, if Terry Bussey shows up and he has a good season too, that wide receiver room is going to be tearing people apart. So I'm looking forward to it. That's my breakout.
That's what I'm saying. Teams will have to pick their poison.
Yep.
But there's one guy who is really big on Texas A&M, and you know who I'm talking about.
He hadn't always been though.
But this season he is.
Yep.
And that man is Josh Pate.
Texas A&M. There's a time, Josh, where different can certainly be cool. There's also a time where everyone else except for you thinks that something is really weird, and in fact, it's really weird. That's all of their traditions for the most part. All male cheerleading squads, the weird stand-up comedy routine that they give during Midnight Yell.
Leapfrog.
So many of the Texas A&M traditions, I know that they celebrate it, and it's important to them. It's weird as hell.
So this is the sort of thing that triggers you, huh?
Yeah,
so you
that's-
have a problem with me and my
Your milkmen that you're posing with there?
my 5 friends here. Yes. Look,
Let's see the photo with you hanging out with him in overalls.
you know how sometimes you stumble upon something that goes semi-viral and you're like, I never would have expected that. That was not that moment. I knew what I was doing in that moment. I classify it the same way I would Auburn toilet paper. I classify it the same way I would with the Grove. You say that's different to you. To me, it's no different. And more so than the Yell leaders and Midnight Yell, I think they're in stadium, like game day tradition type stuff, like the war hymn. I don't know how many people have been to an A&M game. If you'll stand down there and you'll look up, it's fully enclosed, so it doesn't matter which way you're looking. To me, that is weird in a good way because it messes with my, like it disorients me. When I look at it, my eyes get disoriented. That's how crazy a spectacle that is. So if they ever get a championship contender there, maybe the rest of the country takes note. I actually love it there. And I've loved it even more because everyone else makes fun of me when I say I love it. So that just fuels my love.
So Josh,
So that was brought to you by Outkick, Jonathan Hutton, and Chad Withrow.
the guy who
are
is
based-
kick sounds like Josh Payton. They sound very similar. That was weird.
They do. They sound exactly alike. So I think people don't understand A&M tradition And there's a quote that my stepdad's always said: if it happens once, it's by chance. If it happens twice, it's tradition.
I like it. Hey, Josh Pate got bit by that A&M bug. He showed up and experienced it, and now he can't get enough of it.
And that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do is show up and experience it. But time to get back to this hat. A little horns down action for all y'all that are T-sips or
Hey, you're gonna make him cry. Cut that out.
so Texas brought in Emmett Mosley and Jack injuries. But they lose the stud tight end, Gunnar Helm, who was actually really good for them last year.
He went pro, right?
Yeah. He ended up in Tennessee. So I will get to watch him 17 games this year. Even though I hate the university he went to, he plays for my NFL team now, so I sort of have to root for him. But I have Texas going 10-2.
Another player, real quick, is Amari Niblack. He came from Texas this past season.
Yes.
He was behind Gunner.
Actually, he was our third string tight end.
Okay, third string.
So he really wasn't a big. The reason he came to A&M was Holman Wiggins, which I did not change the name on the next to my name, the Twitter account. But Holman Wiggins, who was at Alabama, Amari Niblack started his career at Alabama.
Yep.
Transferred from Alabama to Texas. And then left Texas and came to A&M.
He followed his position coach.
But yeah. But I have Texas going 10-2, 7-1 in conference. The only conference game I have them losing is that final game of the year.
I like it.
Is that final game of the year. But don't be shocked if they lose at Georgia.
I would not be shocked at all.
And that would actually give them the same conference record that we do.
So that makes that final game of the year big.
Oh,
big
yeah.
deal. Yeah.
Because whoever wins that game punches their ticket to Atlanta.
Yep.
But final team to look at. Vanderbilt. They get Diego Pavia for another year. Jordan Matthews as the DB. Not the wide receiver Jordan Matthews. And then DeRicky Wright, which I think came to A&M. I think.
Yep. Well,
Also,
Eli Stowers. You remember him?
Yep.
He's a tight end at Vanderbilt. He had a breakout season last year, and he was QB, backup QB at one point.
He is a first team. He's either first team or second team all conference preseason.
Okay. Yep.
A&M's got 6 on that list. The funny thing is, 3 of our 5 starting offensive linemen, are second team all conference.
It's good stuff.
Will Lee, I think, is also second team. You have Torian York as a third team all conference. But the first team all conference goes to one Le'Veon Moss.
He deserves it. I sure hope he shows up and does it.
But I have Vandy going 6-6, 3-5 in conference. My hot take is, if Vandy goes 6-6 or worse, Clark Lee gets fired. sorry for all my Commodore fans.
Clark Lee doesn't get fired at 6-6. Come on, that's like good for Vanderbilt.
Well, compared to last year, it would be a step back.
That's true. He get fired for his own success, huh?
I don't think Auburn wins this game, because if you go back and look at when Pavia was at New Mexico State, he beat Auburn. He beat Auburn last year. All good things happen in threes. I think they beat Auburn for homecoming.
I like it.
I think they beat Tennessee at the end of the year.
Ooh. Be some angry Tennessee fan.
And the other game, I think they go winning conference. I think they go down to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama.
2 years in a row.
They have it in them. Pavia is the leader of that team.
There are gonna be some angry elephants ready to stomp all over Vanderbilt if it goes my way.
But I did say wrong thing. I did say that I told Kyle that I did want to recognize one former Aggie, Janae Walker, for a great catch. I want to say it was week 2 of the preseason. And then he bust out the celebration that he did with Anaya Smith. Yeah.
You just go back. Hey, I'm back. You tell yourself you're back. Fade route. Walker. It is touchdown for Chicago. And the Bears have the lead again.
He was excited about that.
That was I think that was his first NFL touchdown right there, even though it don't count in the books. But man, what a game that was for him.
I'm glad to see him getting touches and touchdowns and stuff like that.
But there is a little controversial thing around A&M right now that some people like, some people don't. And it is the LEDs.
Is the what?
The LEDs in the stadium.
Oh, the LEDs. Yes, yes.
As someone who is closely connected with an old ag, this old ag does not like the LEDs. Because it reminds them too much of South Carolina.
Has he experienced it in person?
At South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, then he has some room to speak. I'm excited about it, honestly. I think the one drawback is that when I watched the film that I've seen of it, someone was flying over the top. I guess someone had a drone or something out there. And it was, instead of it being like maroon, it was red.
Yeah.
When it flashed. So that's a little disappointing. But I think in the moment, it's going to get everybody hyped. I mean, what can you say? The lights go off. Ooh, that hype is going to come up.
And I actually have that clip.
Oh. Let's do it.
I think this is the one you're talking about.
Okay, it may be a little more maroon than I remember.
But like, from someone who has actually seen the whole South Carolina thing, it's too much like South Carolina. But back to what Josh Pay was talking about, it's a good way to play the mental game. Like going back, like look, like if too bad that there's no way that I would get at field level because the sawing, it's enough to mess with your eyes. Because I know you've seen it from where you sit. Up
Yeah.
to up in the nosebleeds on the home side.
Yep.
And like it's enough to just mess with you.
It is. It is. It's intimidating. Yep.
And just imagine visiting quarterbacks, seeing that, and like it screws with their eyes so bad it ain't funny.
I hadn't even thought of it that way.
But I guess it's time to close up shop.
It's been a good one.
Well, Ags, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thanks, and giggle.
Gig 'em.